Many people who see our large collection of tropical fish will often wonder if it cost us a small fortune to buy them all. But the truth is, these fish cost us a lot less than you might think, because we didn't buy them all. A lot of the fish we have in the fish room today, we bred ourselves. Breeding fish is one of the most fun and rewarding aspects of the aquarium hobby. And in this video series, we're going to show you how you can breed your own fish, with a focus on our favorite fish to breed, African cichlids. Specifically those species from Africa that are mouth-brooding cichlids. But more on that later. For now, let's get started. The species we're going to use in this video is the Mylochromis anaphermis, also known as the blue steel hap. It's one of my favorite species, and it's entirely too underrepresented in the hobby. It's an uncommon fish to find, and that's mostly because people just don't know how awesome it looks when it grows up. I've made it a personal mission to spread this fish throughout the hobby, so let's breed some more and get them out there. Now, there are many different ways fish can breed, but the majority of African lake cichlids are mouth brooders, meaning the females carry the eggs in their mouth until they hatch. We'll touch on other methods of fish breeding in future series, but we're going to focus on these for now. First thing you're going to want to do is decide what size aquarium you're going to use to breed your fish. African cichlids come in many different sizes, so you'll have a few different tanks to choose from. Most of the time, you'll be good with a 40-gallon breeder aquarium, and that's what we're using here. This will work well for most of your Mbuna, your peacocks, any fish that's up to 6 inches. There are some African cichlids that can be bred in even smaller tanks. I've bred yellow labs in a 20 long, and there's other dwarf Mbuna that would work out great in that size tank for short-term breeding projects. But on the other end of the spectrum, you have your monster haplochromines, which some of them, I wouldn't breed them in anything less than a 125-gallon. Fish like your Malawi hawks, your Buccochromis, some of those guys get big. So you need a big tank to let them have space for their breeding behavior. Next step is to choose the substrate you're going to use. And with this, the choice is easy. Sand is by far the best substrate to use when breeding African cichlids. These fish love to sift through the sand with their mouths, and many species will dig pits in the sand as part of the breeding process. So if you're using gravel or anything like that, it's just not as functional. If you look in the crevice between these rocks, you'll notice that a pit has been dug and a mound of sand built up around it. And they love to do this, and if you use pebbles or gravel, then they just can't. Now, you'll still have many options to choose from, even if you're focused on sand. There's different colors, different textures, different grain size. Some of them are made for African cichlids to raise pH if you're working with softer water. But all of them will do just fine, as long as it's something that the fish can pick up, sift through, and easily move around. The next point to cover while we aquascape the tank a bit is filtration. Now, baby fish are small, and equipment like hang-on back filters or canister filters can be very detrimental to their health. There's high likelihood of fry getting sucked up and just not making it. But with sponge filters, you don't have this risk. Sponge filters are not going to harm your baby fish at all. Now, with African cichlids, since they are mouth brooders, and many people will actually take the fry out of the mother's mouth and raise them in a separate tank, you do have more options on this front. You can use those powered filters if you'd like. But we still recommend using sponge filters, because what that does is give you the option down the road of letting the female spit the fry naturally in the tank, and keeping the fry in that tank and moving the parents elsewhere. Or if the female spits before you are ready to get the fry, then there's a higher likelihood of those baby fish surviving, because there's one less thing in that tank that's a danger to them. The last thing you need to know for setting up your African cichlid breeding tank is how to arrange the decor and rocks in the aquarium. This is very important because African cichlids are very aggressive. The males will beat up the females, even the females will beat up each other if given the chance, especially when they're in the breeding process. So it's very important to have a layout that offers lots of caves, like these ones here, or other hiding spots, like behind this big rock here, for the females to escape the male and even themselves. Now you can accomplish this with pretty much any aquarium safe rock and just throwing together a quick aquascape. It doesn't have to look good. But I like my breeding aquariums to still look aesthetically pleasing. So I took some additional time here to make a layout that I thought looked good, but still served its primary purpose. We've provided several caves and many hiding spots for the fish to escape to when they need a break. So this should work out just fine. But hey, that about covers everything you need to know for setting up your own African cichlid breeding aquarium. Stay tuned for future videos in this series, where we're going to cover the fish selection, the foods you should feed them, and even how to pull and raise the eggs. I hope you enjoyed the video. Go ahead and drop any questions you have in the comments below. I'll be sure to check them out. And I hope to see you back for the next one. With a basement full of fish tanks, there's still so much to show you. Take it easy, everyone.